that Arabs are black and can't be racist to other black people. So why do they use a racial term, son of a black woman?
You realize you're not allowing me to finish. This is like classic speaker's corner. When somebody doesn't want you to get the point across, they continue to talk over and over and over you. All right, give me the respect as I give you the respect. So again, yeah, the second opinion or the second interpretation of this is to say that he was a son of a slave. It had nothing to do with actual color or race or anything like that. It's just to point out that you're a son of a slave in terms of hierarchy. Okay. In the context of the society, there is different levels, okay, of you being a maula or you being an walid and so forth and so forth. There is a different categorization. So it was pointing out to the fact that you are of a lesser status than me, rather than it being a racial categorization.
I know a lot of this is going to just miss a lot of people because it's really, how can I put it? It's very niche. Everything that I'm actually discussing right here is so niche that I know a lot of my audience members is just going to be lost by it. But this is something that I feel is relevant because we normally talk about the black and white, racism or racial prejudices or racism or, white supremacy and so forth. We only just talk about it from that paradigm. We just focus on that. But we never really jump into the Arab supremacy or the pale Arab supremacy, should I rightly call it, and those types of ways there. So hopefully I can actually just bring it up and you guys can kind of get familiarized with it. Did anybody clock what was going on?
Well, do you know what, Kalam? It's the same old. Being dark or black is equated with being negative, and lighter is equated with being positive. From what I heard of that video, this gentleman seems to think being called the son of a black mother as negative. But why is it negative? Because the mother's black. So if I said the son of a white mother, would that be positive? It's the same old all over the place, and I'm very surprised to hear that, to be honest with you.
There you go. So this is one of those things there that people don't like. It's all throughout, like literally all throughout the Arab world or the Muslim world as well. They will always bring up, there's like one hadith basically where this guy called Abu Dharr said to either Bilal, I believe it was Bilal anyway, that he was reviling him, he got angered by him, and he said, yeah, you son of a black woman. And most people interpreted it, or most Muslims of this modern day Muslim world interprets it as being racism. Is it being racism? And not because it is racist. It's not actually racist, okay? Because most people don't understand the social context or the hermeneutics of the text itself. They don't understand that. They just view it from their lens of today, or their own prejudices or their own assumptions and their own values and their own beliefs. So they just automatically think that calling somebody a son of a black woman, they associate blackness with being terrible, with being bad, with being negative, with being, all the disparaging words in the dictionary. They imagine it to be as such. So when somebody says that, they're saying, that's them being racist. And I'm like, yeah, I see you, family. I see you. You're putting on your racist lens, and you're trying to superimpose racism where racism truly doesn't even exist itself. And I know that's going to be it's going to be like weird to most people who's tuned in right now who are Muslims. Okay, it's going to be mad weird for that. And I'm going to say, listen, okay, you've got another black man. Yeah, you've got one black man calling another black man a son of a black woman, and you think it's racist. And I'm like, but in their minds, because when they hear an Arab, when people usually hear the term Arab and Arab is speaking, they automatically think or believe that that person is now pale skinned. Okay, it's a pale skinned person who's speaking. It's their own racial prejudices. You dig what I'm saying? So if I say, Arab, the first thing that comes into your mind is, people in Saudi Arabia today. We all do it, right? Am I correct in saying that?
Yep.
Yeah, we all think that. That's the first thing that comes into our heads. You got those guys wearing white with a red tea towel looking thing on their heads and so forth. Like we think of a terrorist or whatever those, or terrorist or somebody who's about to hijack something, somebody who's about to blow up something, whatever the case is. This is our own prejudices based upon the media, based upon our surroundings, based upon literature, based upon games that we're playing, whatever the case is. That's just feeding into our psyche, and that's why I don't blame people most of the time. I realize that they are ignorant. So when people are ignorant, it's not to actually scold them or tell them off. It's to nurture them and take your time with them, and then just try to, come on, baby. Let me just get you up a bit. Let me just educate you and just be soft with you. So that's what I'm going to actually do. I'm actually going to be soft with people and re-educate everybody. So, certain things, when it pops into their minds, they don't automatically have a negative association with it. So real quickly, let me quickly do this. Actually, I would like to show you guys. So you got a guy basically called Abu Dharr saying to Bilal, "Oh, son of a black woman." Let's quickly do that. Oh, son of a black woman. There we go. So Abu Dharr and Bilal had a dispute, but in a moment of anger, Abu Dharr said, "Oh, son of a black woman." So Bilal complained to the Prophet, who said, "Oh, Abu Dharr, did you slander his mother? You are a man in whom there is still some jaahiliyyah, ignorance." Abu Dharr began to cry profusely and asked the Prophet to ask for forgiveness for him. Abu Dharr left the mosque with tears streaming from his eyes and went to Bilal. When he saw Bilal, he placed his cheek on the ground and said, "I will not get up until you place your foot over my face. You are the noble and I am the lowly." Okay, you are the noble and I am the lowly. Bilal began to cry. He approached Abu Dharr, stood him up and kissed him on that very cheek. Then he hugged each other and cried together. Okay, so this is supposedly what happened in the story. On here, parts of this is actually in Bukhari, and the other parts I'm actually not too sure where it is. But there is two people, Abu Dharr and Bilal, and this story here is going on. And usually people assume it's to do with racism. Okay, and I'm going to tell you, it's nothing to do with racism. It's actually to do with the social construct and how people are regarded with inside of a society. But I'm going to show you why it has nothing to do with racism. And this is usually, we argue this point for ages, and it just falls on deaf ears because people don't understand that, you need to belong to another racial grouping or classification to be considered racist. Okay, but let me just quickly show you something. So this person here is Abu Dharr. He's literally the fifth person to actually embrace Islam. Okay, and then this is in Tabri. If you go to Tabri, volume 39 and page 69, you can find all of this information. Now, I don't know if any of you guys can actually read this, but I would love for somebody just to quickly read this out for me.
When Abu Musa al-Ash'ari arrived in Al-Kufa, he met Abu Dharr and started seeking his company. Al-Ash'ari was a short, slender man, whereas Abu Dharr was black and hairy.
That's it.
Al-Ash'ari, okay.
That's it. So that's one of the descriptions of Abu Dharr. He was a black and hairy individual. Okay, we can go to other places where he's considered to be a dark brown tone, or he's either also a dark brown tone individual. Okay, so we see that this individual is a black man. He's actually a black man. So why would he be calling another? Why would he be racist? Why would he be trying to be racist? Or how can he possibly be racist to somebody of his own racial group? It just doesn't make any sense. Okay, sometimes we have to put aside our racial prejudices and start to utilize a bit of logic and reasoning when we're reading texts. We have to understand it's us that's superimposing, okay, into a text. We've just read now. Look, Abu Dharr said, "You son of a black woman." This is to do with racism.
Could I add something, Kalam?
Yep, go ahead.
It's also worth noting that Abu Dharr, he was one of the first people to embrace Islam. So, he's one of the people who one of the first who suffered with the Prophet. And if it says that the Prophet said, you still have jaahiliyyah, meaning ignorance within your heart, this implies that he was being racist. But as you have noted previously, he was also brownish or black and had curly hair, so he was almost also black. So if it's true that he said that, which it doesn't make sense.
It says that he was black, not almost also. It says that he was black.
Yeah. So he was black. according to the text. So he can't be racist, first of all. And like, you gotta also remember that Abu Dharr was like one of the companions of Imam Ali. So like, he was also exiled to the Rabada desert, and you know, like Sahih Bukhari and all these were written like later on during eras where there was a lot of anti-Alid atmosphere. So you know, the if you think of it from a logical point of view, the best thing to do to, you know, destroy the Alids and all that is just to start attacking the companions of Ali. And Abu Dharr, he was the fourth or fifth person converting to Islam, and then you just slap him with a bit of racism here and there. That's the best way to destroy his image. So you know, we shouldn't like take anything at like face value, right?
No, wrong. I'm saying to you is that is a good way to do some like mental gymnastics. But it's not being honest. If you're going to actually, you know, you can do that to every single text that you encounter is doing mental gymnastics. And that's not the best way to go about it. We take it for face value that he called him a son of a black woman. Again, you're reading into the text racism when there is no racism. Okay. You're reading into
Then why would you call him that?
There you go. There you go. Now, that's the key question. Why would he call him son of a black woman? And does it have anything to do with racism? The answer is no. Okay. It is actually to do with your social standing within inside of a community. Okay. It's to do with your social, I'm going to repeat, it's to do with your social standing within inside of a community. It's alerting the people to know that you are actually a son of somebody who is outside of the social hierarchy, i.e. a black woman. Okay. It has got nothing to do with actual racism. It's just to say that you are outside of the social standing. And that is what it's talking about. Hence, it says, you are the noble and I am the lowly. Okay, this is not to do with racism, but it's to do with status within inside of a society. And I will further just pull that up so you guys can understand in a hot second from the Lane's lexicon. And we basically see that when you're utilizing the appellation son of a black woman or son of whatever the case is, it is indicating to other people that you are coming from a social status which was a lower social status, i.e. you're coming from slavery or a freed slave or emancipated slave. So when Bilal was being called the son of a black woman, it wasn't a case of him being racially, abused. No, it was to do with social class system. And I'm just going to quickly show you this over here. Right here, I'm just going to read this out. So right over here, this is, many of you guys may have seen me talk about the blacks and the reds and so forth. The blacks represent, the black races, including the Arabs at the time, and the red races include the Turks, the Romans, the Greeks, the Persians, the Khorasanis, and so forth. This was their the Arabs' racial, I want to say racial, as in apostrophes, racial categorization is more of their own categorizations of people. They categorize people either as being blacks or as being reds. They may have been later formulations, but those were the two classifications that they definitely spoke about. Okay, so over here we have the term here, which is like the son of a red woman right here. Okay, you have the word abana, and then you have al-hamra right here, which literally means the son of a red woman. Okay, and that son of a red woman literally is an appellation applied to an emancipated slaves, and meaning son of the female slave is an appellation used in reviling and blaming someone. Okay, so if you want to use it, and this is to do with the reds, it's not even to do with blacks right now, it's been used to revile people. Okay, to say that you are of a lesser social status, i.e. you're coming from slavery. Then over here we have another one, okay, which is a son of a black woman yet again. Okay, and it's letting you know you are a freed man or an emancipated slave. That is the connotation. So when Abu Dharr was calling him, sorry, let me actually make you see it in the Arabic as well. So when Abu Dharr was calling him a son of a black woman, okay, he's literally saying that you are a son, you are basically a freed man or an emancipated slave. That's what he's actually drawing reference to. Okay, son of a black woman is letting another person know that you are an emancipated or freed slave. And it's the same thing over here, but it's also used, for both reds and blacks. And it is to be reviling, to say that you are a person that's come from slavery rather than a person who is part of the social system at the time. And that's the problem, that if you don't understand the hermeneutics or the social context of the text, and you see certain things like that, you immediately think racism, but it has nothing to do with racism at all. Does that make sense? Let me know if it makes sense or if it doesn't.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, just a quick question. I mean, I don't even know if I got it right, but back in the day, like Victorian times, they used to flick their thumb at you, innit? And obviously, if you did that to someone now on their teeth, they wouldn't know what the hell that means. It wouldn't mean anything. So I suppose this is like a term, the term you're using for this, it's kind of limited to those times. But it's you have to understand the context and really the whole meaning behind it to really break it down. That's kind of what I'm getting from it.
That's right. Because another thing is, because people think, blacks, it's like a negative term. People don't understand that black people, or black Arabs at the time, were very prideful of their complexion and their color. Let me just quickly do this for you guys as well. So this is kind of where the son of the black woman comes from. But I'm actually going to read to you. This is again in the Lane's lexicon. Okay, so it says over here. So the term here, green color by reason of his clearness, literally. So, okay, al-akhdar. Okay, cool. So basically, somebody over here, okay, is claiming to be black-skinned or brown-skinned, a very dark-skinned complexion. And it says here, it means of pure race, because the complexion of the Arabs are tawny, okay? Tawny means dark brown or dark brown leaning towards black, of genuine Arab race. And as in the sayings of al-Lahabi, al-Fadl ibn Abbas, okay? So Ibn Abbas is son, al-Fadl says this, and I am the tawny, who knows me, the tawny of skin, or pure of race, of the family that compromises the nobility of the Arabs. Literally, such a one is blackish or black in the back of the neck. Okay, that's going on something else now. So so quite clearly, them themselves, boasted in being black-skinned, having very dark brown skin, being tawny, etc., etc. So, when people think of Arabs, they usually think of a pale, white-skinned individual, a pale-skinned person. But the ancient Arabs of the time, this is literally the Prophet's family. Okay, Ibn Abbas, who, that's to do with the Abbasids and so forth. These are the cousins and nephews and so forth of the Prophet. They boasted of their black complexion. There was not a stigma during that time frame towards blackness as such. There was no stigmatization. But of course, people that's reading the text in these days and times, they have their own presumptions and their own stigmas in their head towards black people, where the people at the time never actually had. And they're superimposing their own racist prejudice onto the people, which is not actually there. So I just wanted to bring that